Here's the airspace question that fails 80% of Part 107 test takers. Look at this faded magenta ring. What's the floor, 700 feet or 1200? Pause it and take your guess. It's 700 inside the ring and 1200 outside. If you said 1200 everywhere, you just fell for the trap. And you're not alone. This isn't textbook theory. It's the exact mistake that wrecks real test scores every day. The same airspace commercial pilots fly tower inspections and urban missions through. Here it is from the actual flight view. By the end of this video, you're going to understand airspace the way working pilots do, not just the way the test wants you to memorize it. So let's start from the ground up. The FAA sorts every cubic foot of sky in the country into one of 6 categories: Class Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, and Golf. Alpha starts at 18,000 feet and is reserved for high-altitude airline traffic. You'll basically never touch it as a drone pilot. Bravo, Charlie, and Delta surround major and regional airports, shaped like upside-down wedding cakes, and every one of them requires air traffic control authorization before you fly a drone inside the lateral boundaries, regardless of altitude. Echo is the default controlled airspace that fills in the gaps around smaller airports and at higher altitudes nationwide. And Golf is uncontrolled airspace, the open sky where you can generally fly without authorization, provided you stay under 400 feet and follow the rest of Part 107. Now here's the piece almost nobody explains clearly. Controlled airspace doesn't mean forbidden. It means you need permission first, usually through LAANC, the Low Altitude Authorization and Notification Capability. LAANC gives you near-instant electronic authorization for most controlled airspace up to a pre-approved ceiling, right from an approved app, and it covers the vast majority of airports with published drone grids. If the airspace you want isn't covered by LAANC, you'll need to request authorization manually through the FAA's Drone Zone portal, and that can take up to 90 days, so plan ahead. Here's the question word for word, just like you'll see it on the test. Refer to Figure 20, Area 1. What is the floor of the Class Echo airspace? Now watch, most people go straight for the big blue circle. Wrong move. Look at the faded magenta ring instead. That's where the answer lives. Here's the trap. Everyone reads the chart and thinks magenta means 1200 feet. Done. But the FAA doesn't test the easy read. They test the edge case. That faded magenta ring means the floor is 700 feet inside the ring and 1200 feet outside it. See what they did there? They're not testing if you can read a chart. They're testing if you know where the floor changes. The answer, 700 feet AGL. And this matters beyond the test. That 700-foot shelf exists because it's protecting the approach and departure paths of aircraft using that airport's instrument procedures. Fly above it without authorization, and you're not just risking a wrong answer, you're in another aircraft's protected airspace. Sectional charts use this magenta shading specifically to mark where Class Echo dips down to meet the ground-level airspace around an airport that doesn't have its own control tower. A solid magenta line means the floor drops all the way to the surface. A faded, dashed magenta ring, like the one in this question, means the floor drops to 700 feet instead of the standard 1200. Memorize that distinction, and you'll never miss this style of question again. That's the classic, the one people miss. If that one just saved you a point on test day, go ahead and hit subscribe now because we've got 4 more traps coming and each one is harder than the last. Next up is the one that catches even experienced pilots. Stick around. Question 2. This one's about how high you're really allowed to fly. The chart says 400 feet, but 400 feet of what? MSL or AGL? If you don't know the difference, you'll pick the wrong number. Here's the rule pilots live by. AGL means above ground level, your altitude measured from the terrain directly beneath you. MSL means sea level altitude measured from a fixed global reference point. Part 107's 400-foot ceiling is an AGL rule, which is why it moves with the terrain. Fly over a hill and your 400-foot ceiling rises with it. There's one important exception. If you're flying within 400 feet of a structure, you're allowed to go up to 400 feet above that structure's height, even if that puts you above the general 400-foot AGL ceiling for the area. That exception exists specifically for tower inspections and construction work, so if that's the kind of flying you're doing, know it cold. Sectional charts, on the other hand, almost always list airspace floors and ceilings in MSL, because that's what manned aircraft use for separation. So when a chart tells you Class Echo starts at 700 feet, that's 700 feet MSL, not AGL. And converting between the two requires knowing the ground elevation at that specific point on the chart, which is printed right on the sectional as a small number. This MSL versus AGL confusion is one of the most common reasons pilots misjudge whether they're legally clear of controlled airspace. So slow down and check your reference every single time. This one was actually on a lot of real exams. Pilots sit there for 4 minutes staring at a section of chart, convinced the answer is one thing. Then it turns out they misread the boundary line. That mistake costs them the question. Learn it here so it doesn't cost you. Question 3. Before every flight, professional pilots check 2 things beyond the sectional chart: NOTAMs and TFRs. A NOTAM, notice to airmen, is a real-time alert about anything temporary that affects flight safety in an area. A crane going up, a runway closure, a laser show. A TFR, temporary flight restriction, is a legally enforceable no-fly zone, often thrown up with almost no warning around wildfires, VIP movements, stadiums during major events, or disaster response operations. Flying into an active TFR isn't a paperwork violation. It can mean a grounded firefighting aircraft, a federal investigation, and the end of your certificate. Apps like B4UFLY and the FAA's own drone zone will show you both, and checking them takes 30 seconds. Skipping that 30 seconds is how good pilots end up in real trouble. Final trap: restricted airspace, the R on the chart. Treat it like a red light. If the chart shows R, you do not enter. Period. Restricted areas are established over military bases, weapons testing ranges, and other locations where unannounced flight is genuinely dangerous, sometimes literally due to live ordnance overhead. There's a related category worth knowing too: prohibited areas, marked with a P on the chart, which are permanently off-limits, no exceptions, typically over sensitive government sites. Restricted areas can sometimes be entered with specific coordination, but as a Part 107 pilot, the practical rule is identical for both. Here's the one-line rule that'll save you. R equals red light equals restricted equals don't. Screenshot that. Put it in your pre-flight checklist. Here's what you just learned. Magenta ring means 700 versus 1200, and that shelf protects real approach paths. Know your MSL from your AGL and remember the 400-foot structure exception. Check NOTAMs and TFRs before every single flight, not just the ones near airports. And R means don't, same as P5 questions, 4 traps, 1 exam you're going to pass, and a set of habits that'll keep you flying legal long after test day. Test yourself right now. The faded magenta ring starts at 700 feet inside. What is it outside the ring? Drop your answer below. First correct answer gets pinned. Fly safe, fly legal, and see you on the next episode.